Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. This one is another request from MikkDC, and it's another long one. He does rather like the long routes. So this one is Newcastle to Dunfermline. So this is the first of the routes which, face it, have been available to everyone right from the start. It's just that I forgot to mention them until quite recently. So this is going to require two different quick drives, which I will splice together to try and form, one long video. So the first stage of it is obviously Newcastle to Edinburgh Waverley. And once I've done that, we'll say the train needs to be sort of turned round so it's facing the right way again. I won't actually be doing that. Some other driver can take over to do all of that, and then the passengers can all get back on board again, and then we'll do the last stretch from Edinburgh Waverley to Dunfermline. Also, I have already done a Edinburgh to Dunfermline video. It was a week or so ago, and I did it in class 55, the good old Deltic. And in that one I went to Edinburgh Queen Margaret station, which is clearly not the main station of Dunfermline. So we will be going to the main Dunfermline station, which is the first of the Dunfermline stations that we come to. I can't actually remember the name of it. I think it is something as obvious as Dunfermline City or Dunfermline Town or whatever. So we do have some stops along the way. So we will be stopping at Morpeth, Berwick-upon-Tweed, Dunbar, Edinburgh, and then finally terminating at Dunfermline. So not a huge number of stops, no big surprises as far as any of the stops go. It's all the sort of major stops that a train like this would make. He left everything other than the route up to me, so considering part of the route, we all know which part I'm referring to. I've made it summer, I've made it completely clear weather, so we're going to get a perfect view. And we are starting at 8:30 AM, so there will still be a bit of rush hour traffic, at least when we start. But considering the route we're taking, I think we're going to avoid the vast majority of it, so not a problem. Now, as far as the choice of train, I don't know for sure, but I think MikkDC sort of had the idea that I would do the first bit in one train and then the second bit in another one. That's not what I want to do. I want to make it look like I've done the whole route in one. So I will be sticking with the same train throughout, and that will be the case with any of these sort of routes that are chosen, where I would need to do more than one quick drive scenario. And because the stretch from Edinburgh to Dunfermline is not electrified, all of my high-speed electric train options, which I would have gone with, if it was just Newcastle to Edinburgh, because I've got to rule them all out. So it meant that the original first choice was the Class 221, but I very recently did a video with the 221, so I didn't really want to do a second one of those so soon after the first one. So instead I've gone with a train that has again appeared in a previous video, but it was a few videos back, and it was also on a very short route. So this is a much longer route for the Class 67. We will not be taking the Diamond Jubilee Royal train this time. We're not actually transporting the King on this particular run, but we are choosing the Royal Blue with 12 Caledonian Sleeper carriages. So clearly the vast majority of these guys yeah, are just waking up and yeah, finding themselves on the last stretch of presumably their journey from London. Still got a way to go though, because I think it's something like 125 miles between Newcastle and Edinburgh. So yeah, if I was them, I wouldn't be getting, you know, getting ready to disembark too soon. So right, let's get this one underway. And here we are. This scenario is very memory intensive, save all progress regularly. Just what I needed. So that means this could be, yeah, this could crash. I hope not, but well, we'll see. So here is our class 67 with all 12 of the sleepers. Yeah. Somehow it looks like we have managed to get all 12 of them actually on the platform. I had no idea that the Newcastle platforms were this long. Now I do like the old class 67, and even though it's not actually classified as a high-speed train, it certainly is one. It is capable of doing 125 mph, so that is one of the reasons why I chose it. So we are all set. Let's get underway. So as is so often the case, because there are so many carriages on the back of this thing, it's taking us a while to get started. In fact, the class 67 is not the fastest moving from a standing start at the best of times, but we'll be okay. So this 40 mph section is about to come to an end. There we go, so we're down to 20. I don't really want to be going any faster than 50% at the moment because, well, 20 mph limit at the moment, and yeah, we're at 15 now, so we'll be entering the 40 mph section now, so that's okay, with an 85 mph section coming up, so let's put her up to 75%. First station here, which is Manners, but yeah, going straight through that one. Our first stop is Morpeth. And we're now in an 85 mph section, so we'll throttle up full. We've got the ammeter just stops before entering the yellow. And the 100 mph section fast approaching, which will yeah, really eliminate any need to worry about speed limits or anything like that. Well, certainly for a while at least. So we're in the 100 mph section. So I didn't actually check how far we had to go when we started, but yeah, Edinburgh Waverley is still 123 miles away. We've got a while to go. It's telling us we have about an hour and 45 minutes, or just over. One 110 mph section coming up in 1.5 miles. Don't think we are going to reach that speed before we get to that section. In fact, the weight that we're pulling may actually affect our ability to reach 125. I hope not, but it might do. Our acceleration has really slowed down quite a bit. We are on an uphill section, but it's very, very slight. It's just got a hell of a lot less steep. In fact, our acceleration rate has improved as a result of that. So we're up to 85. we're up to 90. I mean, this thing can still do another 35 mph, but yeah, like I say, I mean, it's even written up here max speed 125, but I do have a feeling the weight of coaches that we are pulling is going to reduce our top speed a bit. I can't imagine it reducing it a lot. I mean, I think we'll certainly do, you know, 110. Maybe even 120. 125 might be a little bit out of reach. So Cramlington station coming up in a mile and a half. I am rather surprised, considering that this is not only the final part of the East Coast Main Line, but also possibly the busiest part, that it's only 2 sets of rails. So here is Cramlington station. Well, that really was a blink and you miss it one. Right, not as bad as Bowley up near Inverness, but still. Now I'm guessing, and it is a guess, that we are now in Northumberland. Maybe those who are more familiar with the area can let me know, but it has a very Northumberland sort of feel to it. And I've been through Northumberland on plenty of occasions. I can't believe I've never actually stopped there, because it does always look like quite a picturesque part of England. There's a lot of places there that I'd like to see, but yeah, every time I've been here it's been either driving to or from Scotland. That's not me deliberately choosing to make the horn that short, that's what it's like. So we are very soon entering 3 figures on the old speedometer. There we are, so we're at 100 mph. Considering how much I like this train, there are a lot of features that it has that I'm not that used to. I don't know if this has a speed set or not. It would be bloody handy if it did, but yeah, I'm not sure it does. Right, okay. Ah, this is a pretty hefty speed reduction, and that's why. So, more puss is coming up. Now, does that mean that this is the Morpeth curve coming up, which is why the 50 mph section is here? Yeah, I think it is. So we really want to make sure our speed is down to 50 before we reach that. So we've quarter of a mile, I think we will do it. Yeah, there we go. Managed it pretty easy actually. See, we don't want to speed up too much because of course we're stopping at Morpeth. So here is the Morpeth curve. And we want to continue to slow down here. Station right on the end of the curve itself. Hoping we are going to be able to stop in time. Certainly not going to have the entire train on the platform. No chance of doing that. So the loco itself will be well over it. It looks like the first carriage will be okay though. Oh, no, well actually yeah, the door to the first carriage is fine, so in fact there's only 2 carriages that couldn't get off at this stop. Those 2 are still on the Morpeth curve. We'll just wait for there we go, right, doors are shut. Wait for the brakes to fully release because they were on pretty strong. There we go, right. We shall resume our journey to Edinburgh, so we are, well, just under 108 miles from Edinburgh Waverley. So once again it's a real sort of strain to get us moving from standstill. But we don't have a huge number of stops anyway. The next stop is Berwick-upon-Tweed, so we will practically be on the border with Scotland at that point. See, normally if I was doing 10 mph in most other trains I'd be able to go straight into 100%. With this thing, no, I don't think I can. I'll put it in 75. So I'm still keeping an eye on the ammeter there. At least I remembered it's an ammeter and not a, what was it, animeter or whatever I kept calling it. I can't even remember which video it was that I was calling it that. But it was the Class 87 Drive Guide one, wasn't it? I think once we're up to 30 mph I'll be able to put us into full throttle. Yeah, that should be okay now. Yeah, this is actually another route that I have not yet driven on, even though I've now had it for a good couple of weeks. I was saving it for the London to Edinburgh live stream, but let's face it, that was a pretty unrealistic target because there's still a good 3 months as of the time of recording before I actually do that. So yeah, it was never really on the cards, was it? So 105 mph section, wait for the rest of the train to get in there, and then we'll be all set. I don't think the difference between 105 and the forthcoming 110 mph sections is really going to mean a lot, because we never even got up to we barely got up to 100 in the entire section from Newcastle to Morpeth. Anyway, Pegswood station is about a quarter of a mile up ahead. Again, looks like it's a very small station. Let's take a look. Well, yeah, it is, but it's still bigger than I thought it would be. So what we've got here coming our way, it looks like 57 rail tour. Yeah, they're smart old trains, the R57s, I do like those. Not as much as I like the one we were in though. I am quite the fan of the 67. It may not look much, you know, if you're going purely from an aesthetic value, looking at it on the you know, looking at the exterior of it, but yeah, everywhere else it's really got it where it counts. I suspect when MikkDC said that he would give me free choice of which train to use, I don't think he had the Class 67 in mind at all. I don't think he was expecting me to choose this one. But like I say, even though it's not classed as a high-speed train, I think that's more to do with its acceleration rate than its actual top speed. The fact that you can do 125 means you can't rule it out. I mean, the Class 43, the actual Intercity 125, the acceleration of that thing from 110 to 125 is dreadful. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Anyway, we got speed decrease to 105, followed by another speed decrease down to only 100. Neither of them are really going to bother us. And then we have Widrington station pretty much the moment we hit that 100 mph limit. Again, it looks like there's nothing of that station. Here is Widrington station. Yeah, That really is another blink and you miss it station, that one. Okay, so we have another speed limit increase back to 110. I was hoping there would be 125 coming up fairly soon. Not that that has really been an issue so far. We haven't got anywhere near 125 yet. So we've hit 95 mph. Certainly giving the old diesel engine a pretty hefty workout. Next station coming up is Acklington, not Accrington, but it's the other side of the country. No speed limits here, so we could be, well, I don't think we'll be doing 100, but we'll certainly be thundering through this station, which again looks like a tiny little thing. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, again, I see nothing of it. And we have a speed reduction coming up to 85. Not ideal. Every time we are getting close to 100 or we just reach 100 and then a speed decrease comes along. And at least it gives the engines a bit of a break as we can coast for a little bit. We're certainly going to need to brake before we get there though. It's half a mile away and we're still 10 miles an hour over the limit. So it's there we go. So this 85 section is not particularly long, but we can certainly see why it's here. Here's another pretty sharp curve. Surprised actually that the speed limit is as high as 85. That looked like one that really should have been no more than 70. Anyway, we're now back into the 110 mph section, so once the rest of the train is in there we can throttle it back up again. There we go. Let's see what the animator shows. No problem. Beautiful route this, so I am really liking what we're seeing so far. So we can't be that far from the coast. So hopefully at some point we'll find ourselves you know, rather closer to it. Another speed restriction coming up to 95. I don't think that's going to be any concern. So we have, presumably that's Amherst station. So yeah, Anmouth, but not Annick. What is it? I'm assuming Annick has been left. We passed that a little while ago. So yeah, we can. Oh no, we are going to have to slow down because yeah, 85 through Anmouth station. There we go. In fact, yeah, we'll coast this section. So Anmouth station certainly a lot larger than. Most of the stations we've been through since leaving Morphus. So another pretty long and somewhat tight bend again. I think 85 is a bit generous on the speed limit there. Right, so we're into a 95 section. We can start speeding up again. And we are now entering a 120 mph section. It would be great if we could get up to those speeds, but I very much doubt we will. We do have a 125 mph section coming up in 1 mile. Which would be great if our acceleration rate meant we could reach it. Was the start of the 125 mph section, and now we are inside it. unfortunately we're about 40 miles an hour off that. And we're on a 1 in 154, which just it's not quite as steep now, but this uphill section is impacting on our acceleration rate. We have now reached the summit of it, so yeah, acceleration rate has picked up. It's still not exactly blistering, but I'm sure at some point we will be able to pass 100, and this looks like it's as good a place as any. Well, that 125 mph max is about to come down to 110. Really not going to have any impact on us. We just reached 91. So 110 now, although not for long. We'll be able to go back up to 125 fairly soon. Well, we would if we could. I would imagine that looking at the time, quite a few of the passengers would probably be looking at having breakfast about now. Well, good luck to them. They would be hoping to have that, but they weren't banking on having me driving it. I mean, I've been watching the G-force meter there, and yeah, I'm sending it all over the place. It is one of those things that I am determined to do before I die, is take a train journey, one of the sleepers, and do, like, you know, an overnight run. So Chat Hill Station is next, and it looks like it's going to be absolutely minuscule. We'll take a look at that on the exterior view as we approach it. We are very close now to 100 mph. Oh, we're not quite 100 as we go through the station. Yes, we are 100 mph as we go through Chat Hill Station. I mean, Jesus Christ. It wasn't our speed that made that one of those definite blink and you miss it stations. So all of these speed limit changes here Even though we are now up to 101, I don't think any of them are going to affect us. Yeah, we're now in a 105 section, not for long. But yeah, we're back into the 110. And we will be back into a 125 pretty soon afterwards. So there's the start of it. Now we are in 125 section. We're currently at 102 mph. A lot of very sort of like flat open countryside. There's surely a lot of farmland around here. I mean, to be honest, that's all I really know Northumberland for, so I mean, if there is more in the area, which I'm sure there is, yeah, I don't really know very much about it. So we're up to 103. At least the HUD says we're at 103, but the digital readout says we're still at 102. So I suspect we are actually at something like 102.6, and this is just rounding it up. So this won't change until we actually hit 103. Right, now we're on an actual 4-line section. So now we are at 103. Well, that 4-line section did not last long. That must have been a passing loop then. Of course, because this train is not classed as a high-speed train, we could certainly have been diverted onto those, onto one of those. Admittedly, probably more likely only freight trains that get diverted to having to use passing lanes or passing loops. I do kind of feel as though I should be giving the engines a bit of a break here, but the HUD says we're now on 104, so say, it would be great if I could get this up to 125, but clearly we're not going to. So what I was saying at the start of this run, the weight and the amount of carriages that we are pulling having an effect on us, yeah, that clearly is the case. But I didn't think it was going to be this much away. I thought we might be able to make it to 110, 115. I didn't think we would be struggling once we hit 3 figures. It looks like 105 is going to be a bit of a tall order. Nevertheless, it's not a bad rate that we're going. So 115 mph max speed limit reduction in 1.1 miles, which it certainly has no impact on us. It's only if we see, like, you know, a max speed reduction coming up and it says something like 30, yeah, that'll be a bit of an issue. But yeah, this one, and then it's going back up to 125 anyway, so yeah, these are no problem at all. I'm pretty sure I got time to heat up an ICOS. It certainly looks like 104 is the absolute top end. Now, is that the coast, or is... no, it can't be. Now, I'm assuming that road we just passed is the A1. Okay, right, so never mind this 115 mph speed reduction coming up, it's the 95 one that we need to act on. So let's start coasting. I think our speed will come down relatively quickly. Yeah, I have a feeling Berwick is pretty close by. It's our, I don't know if that alert is for the one that we are approaching here or if it's for the 75 that's due after it, but I suspect it is for that one. So we're into the 95 section, but yeah, we need to continue braking. Whoa, okay, I did not see that 90 come up at all. It was not on the HUD. And there is Berwick, so we'll continue braking. Actually, I think... Actually, okay, yeah, we... I don't know. At the rate that we are braking, yeah, we will be braking too hard too quickly for this station, so yeah, we can stop braking for now, but not for long. We'll start braking again when it's about half a mile away. I'll ease off the brakes just temporarily so we can take a look at this. You know, I won't ease off the brakes much because it's still fast approaching. We get this, have a bit of a look at the old viaduct. Quite an impressive sight. We need to be braking harder than this. I don't know how much of the train is going to actually be able to get onto the platform. Obviously, again, we won't be, but that's not a problem. Except we are still on there. So the bottom, or the last three coaches again couldn't do it. But anyway, here we are at Berwick upon Tweed. It's almost as if, like, you know, the last few coaches are still in England, but we are, basically, we are in Scotland. I was hoping there would be like a sign somewhere that shows the border between Scotland and England, but oh well. Right, are the doors now shut? Yes. Okay, let's get back underway. Edinburgh Waverley is now 57.5 miles away, so we've really eaten through the miles at quite the rate. But it's been a great run, that's why. The miles have just flown by. So our next stop is Dunbar. I don't know how far away it is from Edinburgh, but even if it's halfway, we're only looking at you know, about 28 miles. So once we hit 30 mph, I'll get, yeah, we'll put it into full throttle. but it really sounds like the engines are straining to move this thing from standstill. I mean, the ammeter, well, it's not in the yellow. It certainly will be once I put it into full throttle, but we'll let that come down a little bit. So as I say, about 30 mph, then we'll give it a shot. I don't know why they put the ammeter right up here. It's a bit out of the way. You just thought it a bit more important, so you know, put it right in the front here. Okay, up to 100 and wash way into the yellow. Well, could be worse. It's actually making its way back down fairly quickly, so it's not that big a deal. But perhaps when we leave Dunbar, we'll wait until we're 40 mph before we go full throttle. So we are about to enter a 95 mph section. In fact, we are already in it. We just need the rest of the train. It's fairly short though, only another mile, and it's back down to 90. I mean, we're not going to be doing anything like 90 by then anyway, so we're okay. I think that is the coastline, it's just not very well rendered. So we're into the 90 mph section. It's not particularly long before we're back into another 95. So we've entered the 95 section, and now the whole train's in there. I mean, we're only doing 70. As a class 91, that's the train you are far more likely to see on this route. Certainly far more likely to see one of those than you are a 67. So speed reduction to 80 coming up. Does that mean the station is not that far away? It doesn't look it. But we are going to have to act on it, so let's coast for a bit. And we'll see what our speed is like as we... it clearly is not a... it'll be interesting to see why that section is only 80 mph. But yeah, we are going to have to brake a bit to get our speed down. There we go. We might as well keep coasting for a bit, give the engines a bit of a break. So we'll coast this section until we're into the 95. Okay, I'm clearly seeing why this section has a speed reduction. Again, with this curve, 80 seems quite a high limit. So we're now into the 95 section. It's because the rear of the train is still in the 80, but there's no way we're going to make up 5 mph before. Yeah, there you go. We are on an uphill section and it looks steeper on the route display here than it actually is, but it has just steepened to 1 in 170, now 1 in 171. Yeah, now it's back to 1 in 200. It looks steeper than that, but oh well. It is affecting our acceleration, but not by a hell of a lot. This 90 mph limit that's coming up, we may need to keep that in mind, because we could be getting relatively close to it. We're at 87 now, so I very much doubt we'll be doing over 90 as we get there, because it's less than a mile away. But, it will mean that we'll probably have to throttle down for a bit. Cross that bridge when we come to it. So we're at 89. Uphill climb is now nowhere near as steep, so much so that we are now doing 90 as we pass this section. So yeah, I'm going to have to throttle down to 50 and see what that does. Keeping us at a steady 90, so that's alright. In fact, we are going up very slow speed increase, but that'll do, except we've got an 85 mph limit coming up. So okay, let's coast this then. we only need to lose 4.5 mph, so I reckon we'll do that just from coasting. And then another speed reduction about 3/4 of a mile after this one. So anyway, we're fine as far as the speed limit goes here, but we're going to continue coasting because yeah, we've got another 10 mph that we need to lose. I think we are going to need to brake a bit here. There we go. Really does feel like this train is tilting. I'm sure the 67 is not a tilting train. Okay, let's take out the 50% throttle and get ourselves sort of closer to the 75 limit, except we've now got a 70 limit coming up. We'll worry about that as we get to about half a mile from it. So it looks like we're going to be going downhill. Mind you, it also looks like the speed limits will be gradually increasing as we do that. So let's just make sure we are doing below 70. There we go. So yeah, the next two speed limit changes are actually increases, which will be very handy. Now we are picking up speed actually, so yeah, 1 in 84 downhill section here. Okay, so it's not quite as steep now. It's well, it's leveled out even more, but not for long. Yeah, 1 in 92. So we'll carry on coasting until we're completely into this 90 section. Okay, let's take it all the way and get ourselves back up to 90 mph. Right. We certainly don't need any more power because we're still going downhill. So we are now having to actually do some controlled braking. Not a lot, but we do also have an 85 mph section coming up, so yeah, we're fine to carry on coasting. But obviously once we are back in the 90 mph section, we can throttle up because, yeah, the next speed limit's 105, 125, so we'll be fine for that. Here we go. So that speed reduction coming up in a mile and a half, it's not going to affect us again. 105, we've never reached that speed, so we're going to be fine as far as that is concerned. And then it's fairly short anyway before that goes up to 110. Ah, it's double yellows, flashing double yellows. And that's that one there. So we are a long old way out from them, but yeah, it's taken us a while to slow down, especially when we are doing, you know, as near as damn it, 100 mph. So we're in a 50 mph section, even though there was no sign of a 50 like speed reduction anywhere. And we are going a bit on the slow side. We don't want to pick up too much speed because we are stopping at Dunbar. So yeah, let's just carry on coasting. Very small platform again. So loco will be off the end, but again that's not an issue. There we are. So, right. Front coach has missed it as well, but no well. So the next stop is Edinburgh Waverley, which is 29 miles. Right, so we'll remember this time not to go into 100% until we're doing about 40, and considering we are in a 40 mph section at the moment, I know that speed limit goes up fairly soon. That's higher than I'd planned actually. Yeah, let's put it back to 75. So yeah, we have a 110 mph limit coming up in less than half a mile. So once we're in there, we'll we should be around the speed where we can put it into full throttle without any issues. I wonder if this is going to put us back onto the other line again. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're in the 110 mph section, and we can now put it into full throttle. Just checking the ammeter. It just stopped short of the yellow, so yeah, that was alright. So I suspect there are going to be a few small sort of, you know, like commuter stations on the way. But, yep, as far as the stops go, we have no more until we reach Waverley itself. Max speed decrease to 100 coming up. Really not going to be an issue for us. And that speed limit is going up again. back to 110. Again, has no impact on how we are going to be doing. That bus was rather, yeah, and that car, which I'm sure I just ploughed through. Yeah, they were taking their lives in their hands. I'm pretty sure that car is no more. So we are in the 110 metre section for what it's worth. And then we have another increase to 125 in less than a mile. Okay, so the speed limit is coming down to 115, but yeah, you know the drill by now. So Drem seems to be the next station. Can we be doing 100 mph as we go through it? I don't think so, but we won't be far off it. We're down to 115 max speed. Not for long. 125 is coming up pretty much as soon as we leave this station. So here it is. Pretty much the usual sort of thing. Nothing in any way memorable about it. So we're approaching a 105 mph speed limit change. I mean, it's 25 off the speed limit, so yeah, it must be a good reason for it coming down that much. Again, not going to affect us. We've never reached 105 on this entire journey. Clearly this curve is the reason for it. Well, there wasn't really much there. So anyway, we're back up to 110 max now. We are at 100 mph ourselves. If you think about it, this is only the third time we've actually reached 3-figure speeds. Long Nidgery is the next station. Yeah, we'll just go thundering through there. Another rather small station, not a lot there. Another speed change in 1.5 miles, but again it's another increase, 125. Next station, press thumb pans. Fucking name. So we're going to go hurtling through there at pretty much the fastest we've done the whole trip. Waverley is now less than 10 miles away. And here is old Preston Pan's station. Wallyford is the next station. So yeah, we've got a fair few of these small like commuter stations. I suspect this is not the last one, even though Waverley is only 8.5 miles away. This one is probably going to start. Oh, okay. I thought those bridges would mark the boundaries of it, but no, here it is. Yeah, again, all pretty standard layout for Wallyford there. Right. 95 mph speed limit reduction in under a mile, so we need to put a little braking in, not a hell of a lot. There you go. So Musselburgh is the next station. It's the first of these these small commuter stations that I've heard of. Again, this curve must surely be the reason for this speed decrease, but bloody hell, 95 looks pretty high for a curve like that. Right, down near the coast now, we can go through full thrash through Musselburgh. Can't go not as fast. In fact, yeah, we're going to have to start coasting again because we have a 90 mph section coming up here. I suspect, yeah, things are not going to pick up again from 90 from that point until Waverley. Seems a bit excessive having that alarm going off, unless there's no, we're not going down any sidings or anything, so yeah, I don't know why that sounded. Won't go full throttle, but yeah, we certainly won't go full throttle. It's coming down to 85. And then coming down again to 70, so yeah, Waverley is about 2.5 miles away, so no wonder all of these speed reductions coming up. I know the 70 mph limit is quite a way away, but we're going to do a fair bit of coasting here. In fact, the Waverley station is fast approaching. So our stop is Waverley platform 11, so we've got to go through 7 to 11 here. Now that 60 section, yeah, is very short before we then hit the 20. The fact that we are going to have to, we are stopping here, yeah, we've got to start properly braking that. We've got to slow down even more. We've got this 20 mph section coming up. Here we go. So single yellow here, which is to be expected. I think it's going to change the line. So much for that prediction. But here we are anyway. This is Waverley. So once we have stopped, the driver, i.e. me, can get off while someone else comes along just to turn the train around. In fact, he really hasn't got to do very much at all, and get us all prepared for the remainder of the journey to Dunfermline, which will be a direct route. We're not making any stops on the way there, so well, the train has been moved. We are back with our much needed new cup of tea. So we're now on platform 2. But to put it mildly, the yeah, we're not going to have access to all of the coaches. We were, shall we say, unable to get rid of all of them, or indeed any of them. So the coach is all here, but the train itself yeah, is right here. So we are right at the entrance to the tunnel, more or less, but we are all set to go for the final stop, which is Dunfermline town. So again, plenty of stations between here and the final destination, which is 16 3/4 miles. But we will not be stopping at any of them. We're not stopping until we reach Dunfermline town station itself. Now, our top speed on this final part of the journey is definitely not going to be anything like it was while we were on the last part of the East Coast Main Line. Certainly no three-figure speeds. But while there were plenty of sights to see on the way, it's nothing compared to the sights that awaits us on this final stretch. So we have entered a 35 mph section, but it's going to be a little while before we can actually do 35. Okay, we are now able to do 35. It kind of goes without saying that we are certainly not going to be able to get all of our coaches on the platform at Dunfermline, but we'll give it a go. So we have a 90 mph section coming up once we pass Haymarket station. It is rather welcome. As it is, we're soon going to have to start coasting. In fact, let's throttle down a bit. So we're in the 90 mph section, just need the rest of the train to get in there, and yeah, we can get some proper speed up. There we are, and once we're into, well, once we're up to 40 mph we can go full throttle. There we go. As we pass Murrayfield Rugby Stadium, the Haymarket train depot. Certainly won't find this train in the Haymarket depot, that is for sure. So we're not going to be doing 90 for too long. We've got another speed reduction to 75, but not even half a mile, and then we'll be able to go back up to 90 again. Not that I don't think we're going to be going too close to 90, or too close to 75 for that matter. We will be on the Fife Circle line, but not for very long. Dunfermline will be one of the first stops we stop at once we actually join the Circle line itself. So we're now in the 75 mph section. On a 1 in 91 downward gradient, so we're going to coast for a little bit, because I think there is still a chance that we may speed if we don't. So yeah, that worked out alright. Okay, back up to 90 as we approach South Gyle station. Rather standard fare. No way we would be getting every coach on that platform. So Edinburgh Gateway is the next station. Again, we'll just be speeding through that one. there's a good chance actually we could, yeah, get every coach on that platform. So we're going to have to lose some speed because we have a 75 mph section coming up. A very short one before we can then go back up to 90. So fine here, we'll carry on coasting though until we are into the 80 mph section. So here is the 75, I meant the 90 mph section. So yeah, it's purely for that bridge that we needed to slow down. So right, we'll get ourselves back up to 80 anyway, or as close to 80 before we hit that limit. Dalmeny station is 1.5 miles away. We all know what that 50 mph limit is signifying. So let's coast for a bit. We do have a fair bit of speed to shave off. Right, let's start reducing that. Clearly see up ahead. We have the Forth Road Bridge and the Queensbury crossing over there, but yeah, this is what we are here to see. Well, that's the thumbnail for this video. Class 67 is not a particularly heavy train, or particularly heavy loco I should say, but this train with 12 of these sleeper coaches is probably close to the limit as far as the weight of trains that can go over the Forth Bridge. So there it is. Never get tired of the sight of going over that. Now we've got to start braking because yeah, we're on a 1 in 70 downhill section and we have a 40 mph section coming up. So it's levelled out slightly, but I do mean slightly, to 1 in 70. It's still steep enough. We're into the 40, well actually no, it's still in a 40, I'm not talking about 50 mph section coming up fairly soon, but it's very short again before we're back down to 40. Yeah, once we take the brakes off and we start coasting, the speed really picks up. So by a substantial amount, this is the slowest part of the entire trip. So we're now in the 50 mph section, but we're not in it for long. Basically, as soon as you reach the end of this tunnel, it's back down to 40. So, yep, 40 mph, and we're going to have to brake some more because it's 30 once we reach the other side of Inverkeithing station. There we are. And we're going through that station so slowly it almost looks like we're stopping there. So anyway, here is the start of the circle line. It's a fairly sharp, fairly long curve, which is why the speed limit is what it is. A little speed up. So we've entered the 65 mph section, but yeah, got a little bit to go. So we are into the 65 mph section. We are on a 1 in 123 climb, which is having a serious effect on our acceleration. Now 1 in 123. Rosyth station is coming up, and I'm pretty sure the next station after that is Dunfermline town. Get a bit of max thrash from the old 67 as we pass through Rosyth there. Yeah, this climb is getting even steeper. It's now 1 in 99. We have a 50 mph limit as we, well, in a mile's time. The rate we're going, I'll be pleasantly surprised if we can even get to that. Okay, yeah, we will get to that. It's going to be 50 mph for the rest of the journey. We are clearly not going to get anywhere near all of the coaches onto Dunfermline town platform. So yeah, we're in the 50 mph section. We can start coasting. We're going to lose quite a bit of speed on this uphill climb. So we're not losing as much as I thought, but yeah, it is still coming down at a good old rate. Slowing a rather, yeah, a lot faster than I thought we would. Yeah, 1 in 80, yeah, no wonder we were slowing down a hell of a lot faster than expected. So, well, here we are. 8 of the coaches able to actually get onto the platform. But that's it. So that was Newcastle to Dunfermline, a distance of about 142 miles. By some margin, the longest yeah, route that I have driven in one of these request videos. But yeah, that was a great one, no doubt about it. The Newcastle to Edinburgh section is fantastic. And we all know how good the 5 circle line is, purely because of the 4th bridge. So it gives us a final a final, great sight as we approached Dunfermline. So yeah, great one that. This is only showing the the final section, so from Edinburgh to Dunfermline. I can tell you, and I will put up a screenshot in the posts to prove it, that in the Newcastle to Edinburgh section I had one speeding error. That was the only operational error of the entire run. Quite pleased about that. But yeah, there we are, job done. Knowing MikkDC and his how much of a fan he is of these long runs, I suspect that his next request will be something along the lines of, let's see the entire Trans-Siberian Railway. But that remains to be seen. So yeah, that was a great one though, did like that. So as is the end of this one, and we'll see you at the next one.